Thank you, Michael. Good fun. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Henry Segrici, and on behalf of the Cedar Lane Music and Ministry team, thank you for welcoming us into your home as our auction guests and allowing us to share our auction concert virtually called A Little Night Music. Obviously, this is not the way we planned it, but through the wonders of technology, we're able to bring you some delightfully varied music that you can hear in the comfortable confines of your own chair, couch, daybed, beanie bag, or wherever you relax in your own home. By now, you have received the wonderfully tasting and lovingly prepared cookies from the home bakery of our music ministry team member, Leslie Backus, delivered to your doorstep by one of our team members. I want to thank my son, Michael, for joining me in the brief rag with which we began our program. For the next hour or so, we'll be drawing on recent recordings created by Dr. Jasmine Lee and members of our Cedar Lane Vocal Quartet, Jenny Lynn Moyer, Rachel Moore, and Kevin Miller. I think you'll also be delighted with the cameo appearances for some of our beloved Cedar Lane guest musicians. Remember that you may play this video as often as you like over the next 48 hours, and then it will be removed from public circulation so that we don't infringe upon copyrights. So sit back and get ready to enjoy as Jasmine and the vocal quartet favor you with The Storm is Crossing Over and Rollo Dilworth's Stand Upon the Rock.
Have courage, my son, and let us journey on. Though the night is dark, and I am far from home, thanks be to God, the morning light appears. The storm is passing over. The storm is passing over. The storm is passing over. Hallelujah. The storm is passing over. The storm is passing over. The storm is passing over. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. The storm is passing over. The storm is passing over. The storm is passing over. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. The storm is passing over. The storm is passing over. The storm is passing over. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. passing over. The storm is passing over. The storm is passing over. Hallelujah.
Stand on the rock for freedom. Stand on the rock for justice.
Stand on the rock for liberty. We must stand upon the rock.
Stand on the rock.
Stand on the rock. We stand
Why don't you
stand on the rock for liberty. We must stand upon the rock.
For taking a stand against all hatred and greed, we must stand upon the rock.
And showing compassion for those in need, we all must stand upon the rock.
For peace in all places where there's conflict and war, we must stand upon the rock.
Respecting all people for who they are, we all must stand upon the rock.
Stand on the rock.
Stand on the rock for freedom, let it ring stand.
Why don't you
Stand on the rock for liberty, we must stand upon the rock. Oh, rocks don't fall on me. Oh, rocks don't fall on me. Oh, rocks don't fall on me. Rocks and mountains don't fall on me.
stand on the
Oh, rocks don't fall on me. Stand, stand. Oh, rocks don't fall on me. Rocks and mountains don't fall on me.
Stand on the rock. Why don't you stand on the rock for liberty? We must
Stand upon the rock.
stand on the rock. Stand on the rock.
Stand on the rock. Stand on the rock. Just stand upon the rock.
Stand on the
Stand on the rock. Stand on the rock. Just stand upon the rock.
stand on the
Stand on the rock. Stand on the rock. Just stand upon the rock. Stand on the rock for liberty. We must stand upon the rock.
Hey everyone, it's Rachel. I'm going to be singing Summertime, and even though the living might not be quite easy right now, I just wanted to take everybody back to a time where summer was fun, maybe a few years back, or maybe this summer we could get some fun towards the end. Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Oh, your daddy's rich, and your mama's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. Then you spread your wings and you'll take to the sky. But till that morning, there's nothing that can harm you. With daddy and mama standing by.
One of our most active guest musicians at Cedar Lane, and one whom I have often called upon to accompany the choir, jam in our jazz combos, perform in several of our benefit concerts, and even back me up during my environmental rap song, is Chris Morrow. What a versatile percussionist he is, and he'll be favoring you with his own composition called Music Man.
everyone. It's Dr. Jasmine Lee. I wanted to thank everyone for supporting the Cedar Lane Music Ministry team, as well as being our audience for tonight. And I'm going to be playing Fantasia by Benjamin Lees. And Benjamin Lees was an American composer who was born in 1924 and passed away in 2010. He was born in Manchuria and immigrated to the U.S. when he was an infant, and he is of Russian descent. He started playing piano and started composing as a teenager and went on to major in composition at USC. And throughout his life, he received a lot of awards and fellowships for composition. And for 6 or 7 years, he lived in Europe, mostly in Paris and some in Italy too. So that was the end of, let's say, the mid-50s to early 1960s. And then when he came back, he was on faculty in a lot of conservatories. He was in the faculty at Peabody, Juilliard, Manhattan School of Music, and I think a few more. So this piece was composed in 1954, and it starts out with a very fast, intense section with a lot of running notes going up and down the keyboard. There's also like a lot of rhythmic intensity in the first section. And then there is a lyrical section, kind of lyrical section, with this theme that gets more intense as the piece goes on. And throughout the piece, you'll hear the opening motive, the very first measures motive, come throughout the piece. And then the ending ends with how the opening was, if that makes any sense. But hopefully you enjoy the piece. It's not atonal, but he had a lot of influences from Bartók and Prokofiev. So maybe you might hear some of that in his music. But hope you enjoy. Thank you.
welcome to my family room in Gaithersburg, Maryland. Walking distance, just steps away from Washington Grove, where my great-grandmother Winter settled, was one of the co-founders of Washington Grove, and brought with her from Wyoming this player piano. My great-grandmother was an opera singer, and when she married my great-grandfather, my father's mother's mother, this is who we're talking about, my great-grandmother Winter, they had to give up everything, and or they lost everything during the Depression, and the one possession she really couldn't part with was this player piano. And so, you know, with a lunchbox of crackers, she traveled via train, as they did then, accompanying this piano to Washington Grove. And I am just fortunate enough to have been gifted it by my Aunt Jean Moyer, who's also a member at Cedar Lane. The song I'd like to sing for you with the accompaniment of the player piano is If I Loved You from Carousel. And the reel that I have was my grandmother Moyer's, Carol Moyer, my Aunt Jean's mother. She was a pianist. And this was printed in 1945. Many of the scrolls that I have are too fragile to play. It's like play it and, you know, you run the risk of perhaps it tears. So it really kind of brings home how special these are. I have had some rip and then spent many hours trying to fix them, but this one is hardy or in good condition. Many of these are much older than 1945, but at any rate, here is Carousel, or If I Loved You from Carousel. And please forgive me, I have to turn and hold some knobs manually, and I won't be able to look at the camera the entire time. But If I Loved You. I automatic rewind. And there she is, my great-grandmother Winter, and baby me. And that's my great-grandmother Got. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the music.
Thank you, Jenny Lynn, for that delightful presentation of beautiful singing coupled with the historical background of great-grandmother Winter's player piano. And a very neat photo. We'll bring Jasmine and the quartet back for 2 selections. The first includes our daughter, Molly Sagrishi, and her violin in a selection we recorded for Mother's Day, A Garton Mother's Lullaby. We'll follow that with Jackie DeShannon's 1970s hit tune, Put a Little Love in Your Heart. It's an appropriate song for these times. Miss DeShannon said she chose that title because it was a phrase that her mother often uttered. Put a little love in your heart, because people are always needing to be picked up.
Sleep, my child, for the ready arms, the silent twilight falls. The banshee from the grey rock comes to wrap the world in glory. By the open door, my child, my joy, my love, my heart's desire. The cricket sings you a lullaby beside the dying fire.
Dusk is gone and the green man's thorn is wreathed in rings of fog. Shiva sails his boat till morn upon the starry road. And weeps to hear this sad sleep tune. I sing my love to you.
Think of your fellow man, give him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart.
You see it's getting late, oh please don't hesitate. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. You know the world will be a better place
For you,
and me.
you just wait and see.
Another day goes by and still the children cry. Put a little love in your heart. If you want the world to know, we won't let hatred grow. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. You know the world will be a better place
For you,
and me. You just wait and see. in your heart, a little love in your heart. Take a good look around, and if you're looking down, put a little love in your heart. I hope when you decide kindness will be your guide, put a little love in your heart. And the world will be a better place. You know the world will be a better place
For you,
and me. You just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. A little love in your heart. A little love in your heart. Put a little love in. Put a little love in. Put a little love in your heart. In your heart.
After finishing up a worship service in which I had been playing trumpet with our next guest musician, the late Jay Schneider quipped, "Henry, you must feel like you're in heaven playing this music being jazz." Truthfully, while I dabbled in it in my more active days as a trumpeter, it was our next guest, pianist Steve Jones, who encouraged me and provided me with opportunities to expand the breadth of my playing in that genre. To Steve, I owe my deepest gratitude. Here he is playing Duke Ellington's In a Sentimental Mood.
Hello, Cedar Lane. I hope everyone's enjoying the auction, online auction. I'm Liz Brinker, and I just wanted to say a couple of words about the song I submitted to Henry, which is Till There Was You by Meredith Willson from The Music Man. When I first was introduced to this song, it was probably by the Beatles, and it was all about falling in love. And saw it in The Music Man, of course, Marion, the librarian, singing about Harold Hill. But a friend of mine gave birth around the same time that I did in 1995, and she said this was the song that she couldn't get out of her head after she delivered her daughter and had that baby in her arms. And so I have never forgotten that and thought it was particularly meaningful for a Mother's Day song. And that was the church service for which I recorded this song. So please enjoy and have a wonderful time. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
1, 2, 3, 4. There were bells on a hill, but I never heard them ringing, no. I never heard them at all, till there was you. There were birds in the sky, but I never saw them winging, no. I never saw them at all, till there was you. And there was music and wonderful roses, they tell me, in sweet fragrant meadows of dawn and dew. There was love all around, but I never heard it singing, no. I never heard it at all, till there was you. And there was music and wonderful roses, they tell me, in sweet fragrant meadows of dawn and dew. There was love all around, but I never heard it singing, no. I never heard it at all, till there was you. Till there was you.
Thank you, Liz. It's great to hear your marvelous stylizations, and even better as a trio. We'll bring back Jasmine and the quartet now for two final selections. The first, Draw the Circle Wide, highlights the mellifluous baritone voice of Kevin Miller. Following is a tender love song that we sang on Easter morning, Come Away.
Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one stands alone, we'll stand side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle wide.
In your sadness and in your grief, all this pain, it seems there's no release. We will hold you until the stones have silenced. Draw the circle wide.
Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide.
Arise, my love, my fair one, and come away. Arise, my love, so beautiful, and come away.
For the winter is past, the rain is over and gone, the flowers are here on the earth, the time for singing has come. The voice of the turtle dove is heard in our land.
The fig trees are bursting with buds, and the promise of fruit.
The grapevines are fragrant with blossoms. How delicious they smell! Spring is here, and my heart is filled with love. Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your arm. For love is as strong as death, and passion fierce as the grave.
Many waters
cannot quench
all the world's
riches cannot buy love.
Before we conclude, I'd like to acknowledge the contributions of all who have made this endeavor possible, starting with you, our guests, who have been super supporters of our music ministry. We thank you. And on to the music ministry team of Chair Susan Modak and members Bonnie Beavers, Leslie Backus, Harry Olson, Rebecca Lawrence, Sissy Williams, and Linnea Holtman. We're grateful to Jasmine Lee and the members of the quartet, Jenny Lynn Moyer, Rachel Moore, and Kevin Miller, who have created such beautiful music to support our worship services during these challenging times. I'm pleased that Liz Brinker, Chris Morrow, and Steve Jones allowed us to enjoy their music, and grateful to our daughter Molly and son Michael, who were able to join us in these videos. And finally, I owe my most profound thanks to Michael McCrickard, who assembled all these bits and pieces of video footage into this delightful concert. Bravo, Michael. And to cap off the performance, Steve Jones and Chris Morrow joined me in the classic tune made popular by Miles Davis from the 1947 movie of the same title, On Green Dolphin Street. Enjoy, take care, and stay well.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.